Welcome to the University of Winnipeg Open House webinar session this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we begin, I will introduce myself. My name is Gina Borges, and I am a student recruitment officer here at the University of Winnipeg. And I am always happy to answer your questions, help you apply, any of that kind of information. So you're welcome to contact me at any time, and we'll share that contact information as well with you later. Before we move forward, I would like to acknowledge that the University of Winnipeg is gathered on ancestral lands, Treaty 1 territory. These are the lands of the heartland. This is the heartland of the Métis people. We acknowledge that our water is sourced from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation. So this evening's webinar will feature presentations by Dr. Glenn Moulessin, and Dean of Faculty of Arts, and Dr. Shana Labman, Executive Director of Global College and Acting Director of the Human Rights Program. So we will have some time for Q&A after both presentations have been completed. If you have any questions at any time, please enter them in the Q&A tool at the bottom of your Zoom screen there. And when it is time for the Q&A, I will moderate those questions and make sure we address them to the appropriate speaker. So thank you so much again for joining us, and I will open the floor to you, Glenn. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Gina. And thank you very much, all of you, for coming to this webinar to learn about the Faculty of Arts and also about the Global College. I have a PowerPoint. It's not a long PowerPoint, so I will go over what the Faculty of Arts is at the University of Winnipeg, what type of courses and programs we deliver, and the importance actually of just knowing what we do in the Faculty of Arts. Why is that? Because all students who graduate from the University of Winnipeg must come through the Faculty of Arts. Every degree at the University of Winnipeg has a certain number of requirements that have to be taken within the Faculty of Arts. So it's a very good idea to get to know what is in the Faculty of Arts. So I'm going to start sharing my PowerPoint. And I hope all of you grabbed some refreshments from the waiting room before coming to the webinar. So that is me. That's my name, my title. As a dean, I sort of oversee everything academic that goes on within the Faculty of Arts. I also I am a faculty member. I am an instructor, a professor of French. So I teach French in the department within the Faculty of Arts. So the Faculty of Arts is one of one of 5 faculties at the University of Winnipeg. There is the Faculty of Arts, the Faculty of Science, the Faculty of Kinesiology, Business and Economics, and Education. 5 of them. So we are one of 5 faculties. My office actually is on the left hand of this slide. Those windows with the stuff, it looks like a collection of knickknacks on the windows. That's actually that doesn't look like that now, but that's my office. So it's a very nice office with very nice windows, and it overlooks the atrium where the cafeteria is. So we are one of 5 faculties. We are the largest faculty at the University of Winnipeg. So we can't be avoided for a number of reasons. And in many respects, we're not just the largest faculty, we are as large or larger than all of the others combined. From the point of view of faculty members, from the point of view of courses that are taught at the University of Winnipeg, we have approximately 1/3 of the students who are taking majors at the University of Winnipeg are in the Faculty of Arts. And again, almost every year, almost half of the University of Winnipeg graduates graduate with a Bachelor of Arts degree. So that's there. And it's funny because I do many of these events, different types of events like this every year. And sometimes I'm in a classroom with students visiting the classroom, and I ask them, how many of you are going to take degrees in arts? And very few students raise their hands, but then I tell them every year, half of this class will graduate with a Bachelor of Arts degree. So again, the faculty of art is like a large umbrella of a number of departments. So departments, you're in high school now, I'm assuming many of you, and many of these departments have the names of subjects you're taking in class, like English. You may be taking a sociology course in high school, or political science course, or philosophy. Those are departments within the Faculty of Arts. And they are grouped in three areas. And it's important to know what those groups are for a reason we'll see later. So the first group of departments or programs or majors within the Faculty of Arts is the group called Social Sciences. And that group includes political science, psychology. You know, in some universities, psychology is within a science faculty, but at the University of Winnipeg, it's within the Faculty of Arts. However, if you are interested in brain science, with people poking stuff in your skull and measuring with different instruments and MRIs, that is also done within our Department of Psychology. So psychology, again, in some universities, it is considered to be a science within the Faculty of Science, but here it's within the Faculty of Arts. Humanities. Humanities is a group of discipline or departments. All languages, philosophy, history, these are more like disciplines which rely on texts, on books, and so on. So classics is the study of the ancient Greeks and Romans. English, you know what English is. History, modern languages and literatures is my department, where I teach, and it includes 4 languages. In that department, we teach French, Spanish, Italian, and German. Philosophy is also humanities. These, again, are also religion and culture, study religions of the world. Rhetoric, writing, and communications is sort of like an English department, but it studies language in a different way. Theater and film, this is a department where theater and film is not the study of theater and film. At some universities, a department like this studies film, studies drama. We teach it. In other words, we teach film making, we teach acting, we teach stunts, we teach all aspects in front of the camera and behind the camera, and on stage and backstage. And many of our students go on to work directly into the local artistic community. So social sciences, one group, humanities, second group. The third group, which is sort of interdisciplinary, is sort of in between humanities and social sciences, and it is these departments: Indigenous studies, criminal justice, urban and inner city studies, and women's and gender studies. So those are considered to be interdisciplinary programs. So those are all, I think, all of the arts departments. We also have programs. Programs are parts of departments. So biopsychology is within the, it's a specialization within psychology, also includes courses from biology. So it's a program that is half science, half arts. Dance, that's in theater and film. Disability studies, it's in women's and gender studies. East Asian language and cultures, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, that's within religion and culture. Then German Canadian studies is in history. Interdisciplinary includes many departments who deal with language and the study of language. and Mennonite Studies is within history. So those are departments and programs make up all of the courses, all of the degrees within the Faculty of Arts. Now, should you take arts courses? Of course, there is so much diversity in all that we offer in the Faculty of Arts. There is more than enough to get your interest, to find something that you are passionate about. But also, number two, you have to. It's not just you take arts courses because you're interested in a particular program. Again, I said this before, all students who graduate from the University of Winnipeg must take particular arts courses. Why is that? Because there are general degree requirements. So if you are in the business program, you take business courses, but also irrespective of which program you are in, every program has particular requirements, the same particular requirements. So the first one is all University of Winnipeg students must finish with 12 credits in the humanities. What's 12 credits? Two full year courses. And again, a previous slide had the list of humanities programs, departments, any language, history, classics, religion and culture, theater and film, those are the humanities. Also, social sciences. Students in the 4-year BA and BBA, Bachelor of Business Admin, must graduate with 12 credits in social sciences. So again, social sciences, poli-sci, psychology, sociology, those are arts departments, and many students do also have to take those. Also, all students at the University of Winnipeg must graduate with it should be 3 credits, with 3 credits of an Indigenous course. 3 Indigenous course requirement credit hours. The vast majority of those courses are within the Faculty of Arts. So the content of, I think now we're up to like 95 of these, 90 or 100 of these courses. The content of these particular courses must be Indigenous, or a substantial amount of the content must be Indigenous, North American Indigenous. And again, 90-95% of these courses are within the Faculty of Arts, not just the courses in the Indigenous Studies department, but there are many history courses. There are English courses. There are poli-sci courses. So a number of departments in arts offer courses that meet the Indigenous course requirement. So humanities, all students must take humanities. Many students must take social sciences. All students must take an Indigenous course, most of which are in arts. And also one that I forgot to mention is the academic writing. All students must take academic writing. That is, it's basically to improve your writing skills, to learn how to write a paper. And that particular course is within an arts department. This is always a question that is asked. So in other faculties, you must take particular high school courses to be eligible to apply to the faculty. In the Faculty of Arts, that's not the case. As long as you have the requisite number of high school credits to graduate from high school, and the minimum University of Winnipeg graduating average, you can come into any program in the Faculty of Arts. There is my home department, however, given the fact that it's someone can come take a French course with a certain level of French. There is, for example, an exam to figure out what level of French you have, and then you would be placed in the appropriate level. Of course, if you're a Francophone, you would not be allowed to take beginner's French, which is for people who have no knowledge of French. You would be placed in a level of French which is higher up. But in all other cases, there are no specific high school courses that you need to apply for a major in the Faculty of Arts. Pre-law, social work. These are considered to be pre-professional programs. If you're thinking about law school, if you're thinking about social work, you cannot go directly from high school into law school. You cannot go directly from grade 12 to the School of Social Work at the University of Manitoba or elsewhere. Most law schools, most schools of social work will tell you, if you go visit their website, that you would need 2 years of university, 1 year of university before you can even apply. Okay. So I know, for example, at the University of Manitoba, I think it's if you do the first 2 years of university, you can apply to the University of Manitoba Faculty of Law, but they do not specify which courses. They say take whatever you want, but generally we can tell you which courses are better for law school. Of course, poli-sci, criminal justice, philosophy, those are wonderful courses. And the same thing for social work. University of Manitoba social work, I think it's 1 year of university. Now, if you are thinking of a particular law school, the best thing to do is to look at the admission requirements of that law school. They change from one law school to another. Again, University of Manitoba, I think it's still 2 years of university. I know some schools in Ontario require a full university degree, a BA or BSc, to allow you even to apply. My advice when I get students at these events, what courses should I be taking if I'm thinking of law school? I always suggest please do a full degree, which is 3 years. The reality is that law school and social work school are so competitive that students with a full BA, a full 3-year degree, are the ones that are getting in. So even though some law schools say you can apply after 2 years, you should really consider doing a full degree. It's also a way of, well, for one thing, if you just do 2 years, you won't get BA or BSc at the end of your name. And also, let's say you are accepted at law school without having finished a degree, and let's say 2 months into law school, you don't really like it and you have to leave, you neither have a law degree or a BA or BSc. So my advice is, please, first of all, check out the website, the requirements of the law school you are thinking about to see what is necessary. And the second piece of advice, please consider doing a full degree. And a full degree, you can do a 3-year degree in arts. This is always a question I'm asked, you know, if I have an arts degree, my God, am I going to have to stay in my parents' basement for the rest of my life? Am I going to be driving their, you know, their beat up minivan? Won't I be able to have a job of my own if I have a degree in philosophy? Of course. Although there are ideas out there, stories, myths about, you know, someone with a Bachelor of Arts degree not being able to find work, that is what they are. They are story. Of course, there are always some anecdotal stories, but generally the statistics show the value of an arts degree. 55% of leaders in a society are graduates of social sciences and humanities programs. Earnings of social science grads almost double within 13 years, similar to math and science grads. So if you look at the actual statistics about how someone with a philosophy degree, an English major will do afterwards, they are very encouraging. And again, statistics, stories coming from actual employers, right? Businesses in Canada. the largest employers in Canada prefer these skills over technical knowledge for entry-level jobs. And what are these skills? Those skills taught in arts, because it's in arts programs where you learn about relationship building, communication, problem solving, analysis, being able to deeply read texts, how to make connections between things that don't seem to have connections, because that is what we teach in the Faculty of Arts. And that was it. So thank you so much for listening. Questions, we will leave the question period until Dr. Labman has done her presentation. So I will quickly stop sharing. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, it's my turn. Hi, everyone. My name is Shauna Labman, and I have an arts degree. I have my Bachelor of Arts in English and Religion, and I did use that arts degree to do a law degree afterwards. So I can also talk to some of that. I also taught at Robson Hall for 6 years before coming over to the University of Winnipeg. So I can, I'm enjoying Dr. Mulason's photo now. I can tell you all about all those transitions as well. But what I want to talk to you about a bit is why I joined in on this talk from the Dean of Arts, because another place where you can get a Bachelor of Arts degree at the University of Winnipeg is outside of the faculties and in a place called Global College. So Global College is a college that was created in 2004. So we're almost at our 20-year anniversary now, as a place to foster global citizenship and engagement in human rights. It's a place that's structured to be action-oriented learning for Canadian and international students, and to really bring students and community members into contact with interdisciplinary faculty, scholars, local leaders, and really have an engaged learning environment for you within the university settings. Within this, we have 4 programs. 2 of these programs are undergraduate programs, and 2 of these programs are master's programs. So I'm going to tell you what all 4 are, and then I'll focus on the undergrad programs. So our largest undergrad program, with just over 50 students doing majors in it right now, is the BA in Human Rights. And Human Rights is a program that examines human rights in a global context as mechanisms to address issues of human dignity, social justice, global citizenship. We examine in this program, I am an associate professor in the human rights program, so I have taught many of these courses. We explore the origins and rise of human rights concepts. What does it actually mean to say human rights? The evolution of human rights definitions and debates. Sometimes this is a little intangible for students, but over the years of the pandemic, where assertions of human rights, both very clearly and sometimes in confused ways, really became predominant in conversations. There were real life illustrations from the day-to-day experiences of students that really spoke to their need to understand what human rights means. And a guiding principle of the program is that human rights are understood in multiple ways and contexts. And we include courses from the Faculty of Arts. So you will have courses in different areas such as criminal justice, history, philosophy, cultural studies, women and gender studies. So you're still pulling from that Faculty of Arts programming, but looking through everything that you're studying through this human rights lens. Our other undergraduate program is a new program that's recently been introduced, which is a thematic major in Indigenous languages. So the purpose of this program is really to revitalize languages such as Cree and Ojibwe, and see these languages as the foundation of Indigenous language, Indigenous knowledge, Indigenous communities, and really, again, provide students with an interdisciplinary education in Indigenous languages that focuses on revitalization, that focuses on planning and communication. So you study the causes of language shift and endangerment while being introduced to ideas of learning these languages through community learning methods. So 2 really diverse programs. Alongside that, there are 2 master's programs if you're thinking about the future. One is a joint master's with the University of Manitoba in Peace and Conflict Studies, and the other is the master's in development practice. So the community of Global College, there's a Global College student council that really brings together these different perspectives, all in this sort of interdisciplinary lens that's really focused on community, focused on the local community, focused on the part of the city where University of Winnipeg is located and all the different nonprofits and organizations that work in this area, but also looking more broadly outward to national conversations and international concerns, global concerns. So that's sort of my brief spiel on it. Some of the positions, I know the human rights program much better because it's where I'm situated, but a lot of the work that comes from these programs, of course, you can go into law, as Dr. Melason said, it doesn't really matter what you do to get there. So you might as well do what you love. You might as well do what you're curious about and most interested in and what you enjoy learning, if that's your route. But other careers that are sort of common for our students are work with nonprofits and NGOs, either at the local level or nationally or internationally, working with human rights agencies, working with human rights tribunals and commissions. Some students aim to work for the United Nations. That's where I previously worked. I worked for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in New Delhi, India, before pursuing my graduate work. So humanitarian organizations, settlement organizations, government agencies, all these different types of works, being an equity officer, working in human resources, all these pieces require that sort of community engaged lens, that sense of interdisciplinary learning and human rights. So with this, because I want to make sure we have lots of time for questions at the end, I'm going to ask that the little video of the human rights program get played now.
Human rights for me are fundamental rights that each and every single human has, and that every single human has responsibility to uphold.
I don't have to be your cousins to feel your pain. I don't have to be from your community to go outside and protest. So it's more like understanding what others go through, and especially being in places like Canada, we have a lot of privilege here, and we have a lot of tools that we can make changes in different parts of the world. I'm coming from refugee background. I grew up in a place like where the state there taught me like I'm a person who's do not deserve basic human rights. So all this stuff inspired me, like build my identity and my passion toward human rights. And when I came to Winnipeg and I heard about human rights program, and I was like, this is really a place where I wanted to be in and be involved and use my experience too.
The Human Rights Program is an important offering because of the relevance it has in current society. The idea of human rights is really like politically ingrained into everything we do and how we view conflict and view each other.
The program takes you kind of on a journey of human rights. It teaches you what the issues are, why people don't have human rights, to how can we give human rights to these people who should fundamentally have them.
It's important to come and understand like who's responsible for to protect human rights, what's the role of individuals, community, agencies. So all this stuff is like the stuff we are learning in a human rights program, and it's helped me to understand and give me the answer of many questions I had in the past.
I feel very empowered with what I've learned through this program. I'm able to even educate my family members or friends, or I'm able to look at current issues with a broader lens.
I include human rights topic even when working with kids, so it's really something you can take it everywhere, if not for yourself, but for your community, where you work, and all this area.
I'm able to be more open-minded to various perspectives and values and ideas because of this program. At the end of the day, I'm grateful for that, because it's better to understand more people than only yourself.
I really appreciate small classes. Like, I really like to be able to hear my other classmates' perspective on issues and topics that we are discussing. We learn from each other, and human rights is all about sharing.
That sense of trust in like a small room with 15 students really kind of nourished learning in a different way, and like creativity in a sense. I received a lot of help from the Global College in 2020. And then I received financial aid just through general bursaries through the University of Winnipeg. My family is quite low income, so it's hard to access education. To be able to still go to school and not have to sacrifice going to school because of an unfortunate life event, I mean, that was huge.
I'm a first-generation Filipino immigrant, and I'm the first of my family to go to university here. And I am funding for that myself.
I received Norman J. and Gwen Exporsi Rotary Fund, and this was really helped me a lot, especially I was financially struggling at that time, and it was very hard for me to focus on what I'm doing and focus on my classes.
These scholarships really just made me able to have the mental health that I needed. I was able to maintain my GPA, and luckily enough, I was able to have the gold medal for both human rights and sociology. So I feel really grateful for those scholarships because they've all helped me take a break from work and study.
Me being a student studying human rights was one of the keys that's helped me to get my job and be able to work with the kids, and so it's really helps me to access many things that I was passionate about and to do. My personal dream is to go and study human rights law, and this will be hopefully my door to study law in the future.
The course itself, the program, is so interdisciplinary that I was able to apply in all kinds of aspects of my life. It definitely exceeded my expectations in terms of just how I can understand current affairs. You kind of have this feeling of responsibility. So much has been done for human rights, but there is a lot more that needs to be done for human rights, which is fundamentally why this program is so important.
Okay, yeah, so I feel like the students said it a bit better than I did. One of the other things that I didn't mention about the program is that there's a practicum component, which is optional if you're in a 3-year program, mandatory if you do the 4-year degree, where you can pursue a local practicum here in Winnipeg with an organization, or can do something more international, which is what you saw some of those students doing at the end. So that's it from the Global College perspective. Gina, I don't know if we want to open it to questions now.
Absolutely. Thank you. Those were wonderful presentations. Thank you. And now the sun in my window has moved, and so I will try to move here. So I don't see anything in the Q&A yet. So if I know that we do have a few participants, quite a few participants tonight, so please feel free to enter your questions into that Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And so while we wait for that, I will just share a little bit as well. I too am an arts grad, started out with psychology, took one theater class, got hooked, and ended up with a theater degree as well. So definitely there's so much in the arts, and it was wonderful to see the Global College video as well, and to hear from a student's perspective. So thank you to both of you, Glenn and Shauna. So as we wait for questions to come in, I may as well just let you know about other things that are coming up as well. So tomorrow morning, we will have our in-person open house from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Duckworth Center here on campus. So that'll feature department booths and campus tours. And we also have more of these evening type webinars coming up tomorrow and Thursday as well. So including our final one on Thursday on how to apply and financial aid a financial aid presentation as well, which some of the students touched on in that Global College video. So thank you for that. Okay, so we do have a Q&A. As a high school student, do you have any words or wisdom for pursuing a BA, even if we don't really know what we want to do? For example, choosing between psychology and film and theater. So that might be a good question for you, Glenn, perhaps.
Sorry. Yeah, coming to university is not the same thing as going to a college, in the sense of my father was a welder, so he went to welding school, and if halfway through his course he decided to, if he had decided to become a plumber, well, none of the welding courses would have been relevant, so he would have had to have started over with plumbing school. Okay, but he became a welder. It's not the same thing at university. If you come to university and you start off and you think, I really like psychology, I'm going to start my major in psychology. If you change halfway through the first year, if you change halfway through the second year, because you really liked, you took a theater and film course and you love theater and film, and you say, oh my God, I made a mistake, I should never have started psychology. It's not like shifting from welding to plumbing. The courses that you take, especially in the first couple of years, are good for anything, right? At some point, you have to declare a major, but it doesn't mean you're stuck. It's not like my father being stuck with welding. You can change your major, and the courses that you took as a psychology major count towards many of the things you would be doing as a theater and film major. So my advice to you, if you're wondering about, you know, what happens if I start here and I don't like this particular program, university is much more flexible than other types of schools, and in particular the Faculty of Arts, you will get to be able to sample a lot of different programs as part of the university experience. So sample, pick and choose courses that you find interesting, and even if you declare a major early in a particular program, you can always change. One of the real advantages of declaring a major is from the point of view of awards, because many departments give awards for students who are majors in their own program. So that is one of the real advantages of declaring a major. But again, majors can be changed from one year to the next, as long as at the end you fulfill all of the requirements of the program. But there is so much flexibility built in to an arts degree and a university degree in general.
And I'll just jump in. You can also mix and match. So as one of the students in the video said, she graduated as the gold medalist in 2 programs, sociology and human rights, because she did a double major. So you can do 2 majors in 2 different areas, or you could do a major and a minor, so one focused area and smaller courses in the other. So you not only have time to sample, but as you sort of grow your interest, you can make that combination of your interests. And some of those double majors that aren't necessarily imagined beforehand create really creative and interesting, unique resumes moving forward with your careers. So it's great to have more than one subject area of interest.
Awesome. Thank you. Hello there. I am now doing a Bachelor of Science in Biology, now in 3rd semester at Algoma University. I am planning to get transferred into U of W. So basically, how they evaluate our credits and decide how much credits will get transferred. Thank you. So I can answer a little bit of that, and maybe if Shauna or Glenn, you'd like to step in. The evaluation of credits is done after an application has been submitted. So you need to submit a full application with your high school transcript, as well as any post-secondary transcript from any of the post-secondary schools you've attended, even if you have yet to complete a degree there. You would submit that. The admissions office would take a look at the accreditation of the school you've attended, and then the content of the courses that you have taken. And between the admissions office and the department, the academic department, they will decide at that point if you can have any credits toward your degree here. And you could potentially have up to 60 credits toward your degree here. So that's kind of how that works, but it's not decided on until after an application has been submitted. So Glenn and Sean, I'm not sure if you had any more to speak on that, but
No,
okay.
I think you said that there is a limit to the number of transfer courses you can transfer in.
Perfect. Yes, thank you. Okay, so we have another question here. How and when do I declare my major?
I'm pretty sure it's any time, right? I think we used to not, the admission forms didn't even have the box, I think, to tick off as a major, but now I think it does. So you can apply to University of Winnipeg and declare a major, I think, on the admission form.
Yes.
But then you can change that if you feel like you want to change, you can change that anytime.
That's right. And it is an easy process. It's just a form that you fill out with academic advising. But yeah, thank you. Okay. So there is another webinar session happening at 6 o'clock today. It is for the Faculty of Science, but we do still have a good half an hour before we need to log out and let them log on. So if there are any other questions, please go right ahead.
One thing I can add, and Dr. Labman mentioned this as well, that the learning environment at the University of Winnipeg is quite special. When I teach classes, I don't have any more than 25 or 30 students. We don't have classrooms to fit 200 students. We do have a certain number of intro classes in like psychology that have 120, 130 students, but most of our classes are small. You get to know your instructor. The instructor gets to know your name. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But it's a very good learning environment, and our students do well because of that. Our students do very well when they apply to law school. We're often told by our counterparts at the University of Manitoba, with all of those professional schools, that we prepare our students better for their program than they do. So we're very good at what we do. And so if you're thinking about furthering your studies after your first degree, students do very well at the largest schools, at the best schools. My son, who graduated from political science a couple of years ago, is in his second year at in poli-sci in his master's degree at the University at McGill in Montreal. And his sister, my daughter, is finishing her degree in honors English, and she's going to grad school, and she won't have any trouble. I mean, they're good students, but the University of Winnipeg prepares them very well. And my son is teaching at the University of McGill as a teaching assistant, and he has been prepared very well by his professors in his department.
That's great. I would like to speak to that a little bit as well as we wait for more questions to come in. So please don't be shy. We do have time, and it's just a great opportunity to kind of pick the brains of our experts tonight. So please don't be shy to ask your questions in that Q&A tool. But I will absolutely speak to that as well. As mentioned, our class sizes are small and they're purposely small. So our professors do know the names of their students for the most part. And I remember in my second year, I went to the local YMCA and it was after class and I heard my name and I turned around and it was my first year psychology professor who remembered my name a year later. And so that really just speaks to how valued you are as a student at the University of Winnipeg. You're not a number to your professors. And I felt that as a student here, and students continue to share that as their experience here for sure. Okay. Well, I think the Q&A has slowed down a little bit. So I guess like we can maybe stay on for a few more minutes, but otherwise, please be sure to join us for, oh, here is another question actually. Let's do that before I review what's coming up next. What are some of the academic expectations that are expected of a first year student? I understand that there may be a difference depending on the program, but can you create a summary? Great question.
I can jump into this first if you want. I think one of the things that is very true about first year university, and especially in these last few years after your learning in your high school years has been a little challenged with the pandemic, is students come with really different groundings in their skills and their capacities when they start in university. And so some of the keys of expectations at the beginning are to pay attention, to read the syllabus. So your professor will start every course with a syllabus, which is essentially, this is the lawyer in me talking, it's their contract with you, with what they're offering to you and what they expect from you. And that will differ depending on the course. But if you don't understand it or you're unsure of something, that's your opportunity to ask, to follow up. There are a lot of resources at the university to help students if they're less certain. There's a writing tutors, there's supports in that way. And so really, I think the academic expectations, particularly in the first year, are to be on top and take responsibility for your learning, which means clarifying what you don't understand and being sure to follow up with your professors because they're there to help and support you, get you to that right stage. And that's the benefit, again, going back to the small classes, that your professors want to know you, that they care about your success. They want to help you succeed. And so it's a partnership in that way.
Thank you. Yeah, I would just say the same thing. And you may, compared to high school, you may be asked to read more, to write more. But I think it's very important to, if you feel like you're getting behind, there are people to help. And your instructor, your professor is the first person who can help you. So please, if you do find at some point that you're working hard, but still you're falling a bit behind, the most important thing to do is to talk to your professor. And before you feel like you can't get you can't get ahead. Also, people in the library can help you writing papers, learning how to cite your sources and so on, how to write papers. So the expectations are likely higher than what one is used to in high school. But again, there are plenty of people who are here to assist you in your studies.
Thank you. And as we wait for more questions, I'll just add my 2 cents to that as well. As mentioned, there's all of this help available to you, and you can speak to your professors, but you do need to be the one to take that step as a student. Unlike high school, in university, you have to go up to your professors and ask those questions, go up to the librarians, go up to the tutoring center. They're not coming to you necessarily. So get that help and ask the questions when you need it, because they're happy to help you do it, but they're not going to necessarily approach you. So that was something I had to learn the hard way. Okay, we have another question here. Hello and good day. Can you shed some light on the criminal justice graduate program at UW? What are some of the opportunities for students who like to learn by doing, especially for me, who want to be a career academic?
Okay, so criminal justice itself, the program as a whole is one of our fastest growing departments, even at the undergraduate level. The major in criminal justice has is one of the departments at the University of Winnipeg with the greatest number of majors. So it is not the largest department from the point of view of the number of faculty members, because it's just a medium-sized department. It has maybe 10 people, professors. There are some departments at the University of Winnipeg who have over 20. So even though it's a medium-sized department, from the point of view of number of students, it is a very, very large department. The graduate program is very new. It was created just in the past 2 or 3 years. Students in the program get some in-class, of course, in-class teaching, in-class courses. Also, there is a practicum involved where you go out and arrange to spend some time with a community organization, and that's all arranged by the department. There's someone who's responsible to coordinate that. And there's also, if you're thinking about becoming an academic in criminal justice, the master's degree has a thesis option where you write a thesis with one of your professors who becomes your supervisor. Criminal justice itself, the professors within the program come from a variety of different backgrounds. It's an interdisciplinary program. So some of the professors in there do have a PhD in criminology. There's someone who has a PhD in, I think, psychology in there. So it's a department with different approaches, and it can prepare you for easily prepare you for further studies after the master's program. It's also a department that's a favorite of those thinking about law school. And just a few years ago, one of the first students accepted by Harvard Law School was one of ours. So this student, I think from Steinbach, got a call from at his home from the dean of the Harvard Law School saying, please come to us. You're one of the first 20 we're accepting. So again, that's just an example of our preparing students very well for further studies.
Awesome, thank you. There is another question here. Do classes only happen in the classrooms?
There are labs. Many programs have labs. Many programs have practica or many types of placements in the community. We have an arts department that's not even on the main campus. One of our arts departments is called Urban and Inner City Studies. It's actually in the North End on Selkirk Ave. So there are many different types of teaching that doesn't happen necessarily in what we consider the traditional classroom. There are also exchange programs in Faculty of Arts. They haven't happened in the past couple of years because of COVID, but in any given year, there's a bunch of students going to Asia, to Greece on an archaeological dig. There are French students who go to Bordeaux. So there are international exchanges as well as other types of learning arrangements within Winnipeg.
And I'll just add to that. So this summer, for instance, we're doing our second year after a long time of a course called Emerging Issues in Human Rights, which will take part 1 week at the Canadian Museum for Human Rights and 1 week in the classroom. In the past, sort of pre-pandemic, we would have classes that were international classes. So a comparative health class that took part partially here in Winnipeg and partially in another country, sort of having those experiences. And so we're in a weird moment post-pandemic, return to travel, but those opportunities really do exist in lots of ways. And in the Inner City Studies program that was mentioned, they have a practicum that's actually a course-based practicum that you get paid to work while getting credit for coursework, which just seems like a dream come true, doesn't it? So there's lots of different models and lots of creativity.
Okay, so there aren't any questions at the moment. So again, I'll just kind of plug what's coming up in the near future. Again, tomorrow morning, our in-person open house featuring different department booths and campus tours from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Duckworth Center. Tomorrow evening, our webinars will feature the faculties of education and kinesiology. So that education will be at 4:30 and kinesiology at 6 p.m. And closing out our open house festivities on Thursday will be our webinar for the Faculty of Business at 4:30 and how to apply /awards and financial aid at 6 p.m. So I hope that you can join us. However, you were probably deeply inspired today by the Faculty of Arts and you already know what you're going to do. So, but we are still here for another couple of minutes. So if there are any questions, please feel free to put that in the Q&A.
In the Human Rights Program, Global College.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Sorry, I was lumping you all together. Thank you, Glenn. Yes. Okay, so I think our questions have stopped for the evening. So again, thank you, Dr. Melissa and Dr. Labman. Did you have any closing remarks before we close out today, or good to go?
Just visit our programs and choose courses that you like, and something will take hold.
So thank you.
And I'll just add, university's fun, and it's fun because you learn, but your experience is so much wider than just the courses, and that's what makes it really special.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for those who participated today. And we hope to see you at future webinars tomorrow and Thursday and or at our live open house at the Duckworth Center tomorrow morning. Thank you, everybody.